Welcome back to Open Line. Good show tonight. A lot of debate about Confederate monuments. We have Representative Brenda Gilmore, Democrat from Nashville, Representative Mike Sparks, Republican from Smyrna. Thanks to both of you.
Absolutely.
A bunch of calls.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yes. Let's go to James. Hello, James.
Hello, how y'all doing?
We're doing great. Go right ahead.
Yeah, first off, I'd like to address the notion that people don't like their money going to pay towards upkeep of these monuments or whatever. There's a whole lot of stuff that people don't like their tax dollars going towards, and I think you could probably have a whole week's worth of call-in on where taxes go and what we don't like them going for. But something else that got brought up was that these monuments were built in the 60s, about the Civil Rights era, and that's not true either. A lot of the monuments on the public squares were built in the late 1800s, the early 1900s, and this is a time when all these old soldiers were starting to age. They were up in their 60s and 70s, and it was a way to remember them. And something else you got to think about is that these old veterans had raised sons and had grandsons that were going off to other wars. So they had helped rebuild the nation, actually. And the ones that were put up in the 60s, even though the civil rights movement was going on, we also had the 100th anniversary of the Civil War, which is the reason that those monuments were put up. So a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot from the fella Granger, I think. He had some stuff that I'd never heard of about Fort Pillarate. I don't know where he got his history book, but he wasn't accurate on most of it.
All right. Thank you, James, for the call. Yeah, they were put up over many years.
Yes. After the Civil War, but a great many of them were also put up during the latter part of the 19th century and the early part of the 20th century. And it was during the Jim Crow laws to maintain that, as well as to intimidate black people and to keep them in their place.
Did you want to say anything or go?
Well, I was just going to say real quick, going back to the media, Ben, in all fairness to y'all, I think the media does hype things up. I just want to mention, Senator Thelma Harper and I carried a resolution about the fatherless and truancy. A caller mentioned earlier about tax dollars going towards other things. The fatherless and truancy should be a huge issue. The media never once covered it. You would think a white lawmaker like myself, partnering with an African-American Democrat like Senator Thelma Harper, that issue would make news. The media never covered it. Truancy and the fatherless, truancy were one of the worst states in the nation. I asked the governor the other day if we would address it next session. Look at the fiscal cost of young men that don't have fathers in their lives. And we need positive role models in these kids' lives.
It's tough to cover every bill that comes before the legislature. But you're right. I mean, I wish we could cover more. There is no doubt.
But why don't y'all, though, Ben?
Well, it's just not possible. It's not possible to cover everything up.
We have about 3,000 bills that come before us each session.
What more issue is more important than the fatherless and truancy in the state of Tennessee and education? There's not another important issue other than maybe the drug issue.
Yeah, opioids. But there's a lot, and there's a lot of worthy things, and it's sad, that do not get covered, and I wish they would.
Can you help us on that?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's
go to Sean here. Sean, go right ahead.
Yeah, I had a statement, but just seeing the way the two are acting and just kind of trying to get their agenda across, it's very disappointing, because you have a good platform here to where two people can come together to get some kind of resolution or get together on a common ground, and I'm not seeing that. The second thing is it starts with education with the kids. My kids went to school here. And the history that Mr. Sparks was talking about, none of that is taught in the history books here in Tennessee. You have a small section about the Civil War, about slavery and so forth in the books. So if you want to start somewhere, start with educating and telling the whole truth as the kids are growing up.
Yes, sir.
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. This is a tough issue.
Yes.
So it's tough for people to totally come together.
Yes,
and I appreciate you all both being willing to share your point of view.
Well, like the teacher says, have these students, and I know the state, maybe we should, but they have enough curriculum on as it is, but just go back and read your history. If you're a parent, read the truth of history to your kids. What George Orwell talked about, Ben, about 1984, this stuff is slowly playing out. It's slowly playing out. And you've got to walk the party line. I don't walk the party line. To me, if it's the right issue, I'm going to speak up on the right issue. She knows that. That's why I asked her off there. I said, can you name a few other Republicans that would ever have stood with you? She said, there's probably a couple of them. I'm the only one in history that's ever, as a caller mentioned about getting along. We get along pretty good. She asked me if I'd stand with them, and I'm the only Republican to stand with them. And I'm proud of that. It was over those kids in Murfreesboro that were arrested.
Right, so
we
that's
do find
totally
some common
separate
ground.
topic, but yeah.
And I wanted to also address the last caller, and I would agree that history needs to be portrayed accurately. I think as years go by, sometimes it gets glorified many times, as we have on Forrest. A teacher told me that in one of the textbooks that she was presenting, that they now call slaves workers. So the workers came here for a better life. Now that needs to be portrayed accurately in books. History does need to be portrayed. I'm not saying whitewash it. I'm not saying do away with it. I'm not saying topple those busts. I'm just saying they do not need to be in a public place. That's my position.
Let us go, I guess, to Janice. Janice, go right ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
I just want to make a comment about the whole situation. I think Nashville has wasted more money for issues that do not make any sense. I think our history is our history, our Southern history is our Southern history, and we need to respect that. All races do. And respect the fact that you've moved forward because of this history. And respect each other. I think
respect each other, that's good. So it sounds like you're saying don't take these down. We only have about a minute and a half left. 30 seconds,
Well,
what do you want people here?
I'll say take down the statue of Robert Byrd, Hillary Clinton's mentor. He was a Klansman. It's all factual. That's the one we start with.
So now you do want to take down monuments?
I say if you're going to start with one, start with an actual Klansman, which was Byrd, which was Robert Byrd. That's the one we can start with.
And so is Nathan Bedford Forrest.
But he denounced that.
I say, since we only have 1 minute left, I want to get part of that 1 minute, if I may. I say that we should do things that build America up, bring us together, that we should do things that create more love, not hate. Some of these monuments represent hate, oppression, slavery, and that's not what America is about in 2017. And so therefore those busts, those Confederate monuments should be removed from public places. That's my position.
All right, thank you. Thank you both. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, wrap everything up. Be back right after this.